Ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 days into the college basketball season, and it is time for some overreactions. We've seen almost every prominent team in the sport, and there's a lot to talk about. Given that we're 2 days in, I thought it would be fitting to bring in a man who is constantly 2 days into a new diet that he needs to restart every 2.5 days. Carter Elliott, you're here. How are you? How's the season going?
I'm doing great, man. I'm not struggling like you just did through that little joke you tried to throw at me. It's okay. You'll be better. It's all right. I usually like to fire off my overreactions like 5 minutes into games. So the fact that this got to marinate for 2 days, I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad thing, but let me just tell you, I'm excited about it. There was a lot of great college basketball play. There was also some bad college basketball play, but at the end of the day, the overreactions are going to happen whether you like it or not.
Some of us struggle to get through our jokes. Some of us struggle to fit in the screen, which I would like to apologize to all of our live viewers. We are 4 minutes late because we literally could not fit Carter in the screen. With that said, let's get to the show. We have both brought 5 overreactions to the first 2 days of college basketball. I'm going to start today. My friend, I get to go first. I'll bat lead off. And I want to talk about the most surprising unit in all of college basketball to me through 2 games. It's Kentucky's defense. I have never associated Mark Pope with great defenses. He is known for being an offensive genius, the creativity, the passing from his front courts. It looks like this Kentucky team's defense is for real. They held Nichols to 51 points in their first game in Rupp Arena. Mind you, this is without Jaden Quaintance, who might be the best defensive center in all of America. Mind you, Jalen Lowe, the starting point guard, is still out. Mind you, Denzel Aberdeen, defending national champion, came off the bench in this game because they're bringing him along slowly. This is not a group at full strength, but they guard. They've brought in some dogs in this transfer class. Mo Diabate is kind of the guy that leads it all. And schematically, this just looks so much more advanced than it did a year ago. I'm really impressed because if you are a fan of a Mark Pope program, I think you would rather be ahead of things defensively and hope that an elite offensive coach can get his offense improved over the course of the season. It's a formula that I think could lead to some serious winning this year for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, G, and even when you listen to Mark Pope this summer, he pointed out the fact that he thinks this team is more physical and more aggressive than it was last season. And I think that could lead to it being really good defensively. They have the pieces to do it. They have Otega Owe. They have Denzel Aberdeen. Once Jaden Quaintance gets back healthy, that's one of the best shot blockers in the country. Mo Diabate is a Swiss Army knife defender that can guard 1 through 5. I think you're in a spot where, the offense will figure itself out because it's Mark Pope. But we might be seeing Mark Pope. I don't even feel right saying this. Mark Pope is leading a top defense in college basketball.
Yeah, doesn't it feel wrong to say out loud, but it feels real.
It feels real. I can't get mad at that. A great start to the overreactions, by the way. But if I may, can I take the floor now?
I would love nothing more.
It's my time to shine. Gregory, my first overreaction after the first day of the season is one that's fresh in my mind after last night's performances. It is that Christian Anderson and JT Toppin will be the best duo in college basketball. There will not be a better duo, guard big, guard guard, whatever you want to say, in college basketball than Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. I think everybody knows what JT Toppin is. JT Toppin, as a sophomore last year, was Big 12 Player of the Year in his first year in the conference. He comes back for another year, has a new rollie. He told us that, has the NIL bag. We know that. This has also been the summer of Christian Anderson. He plays with the German national team. Everyone has him on every single breakout sophomore list. And he comes into the first game of the season, down 4 starters, might I add, and backs that up. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists to 1 turnover, 4 steals. His body looks improved. He looks ready to step into a bigger role. And look, everyone was watching this performance. Down 4 starters. What's going to happen in Christian Anderson's first game after all the breakout talk all summer? And all he did was have one of the more impressive stat lines in the first week of college basketball. And I don't think it's a fluke whatsoever. The percentages were great. He's ready to take that leap. You combine that with JT Toppin, that's the best duo in the sport.
He's unbelievably fun. I think you're right. It is funny. We harken back to Big 12 Media Day. We got a chance to sit down with Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. And we asked point blank, JT, you could have been in the NBA. Why are you back? And he flashed his watch to us.
Mhm.
If we had asked Christian Anderson, I like to think if we asked him the same question, why are you back at Texas Tech? I like to think he would have looked at us and said, watch. Because the whole world will be watching how good this kid is this year. We didn't get to see it last year. I think Elijah Hawkins was, I don't want to say in the way. He's a great player. He's a winner at point guard. But Christian Anderson is special. He's a different level at the point guard spot. And I'm with you. Atwell was great too, 22 points in that first game. This Texas Tech team is better than most people realize. Let's jump into the chat. This is an interactive show. We want to take your questions, your comments throughout the program. Hit us in the chat and we will take the best ones as we go on. We start with Jer2Ed, who says Michigan winning the Big Ten this year. That makes me happy. What'd you think of my Wolverines?
Yeah, they were very impressive in that first game. The offense looks like one of the best, if not the best offense in the country. If they continue that, they're just a really tough check. They could have the best front court in the country. And if they're knocking down threes, you combine that with the best front court in the country, it's going to be really tough to beat those boys. And also, they got Yaxel Lendenborg. You know that guy, Greg?
Yeah, the one-handed kid.
Yeah, he's nice. That boy nice.
He's very nice, and he was the third best player in my front court in the first game of the season. Reminder, the best player in the transfer portal, the highest expensive, most paid edition of the offseason was the third best player in my front court on opening night. I'm trying not to overreact. That's why you won't see Michigan in my overreactions today. But I think that was a special offensive performance. I really do. Hayden says, thoughts on your teams early on, fellas. MSU, Cart, how you feel?
Hayden, first of all, go green. This is a chat or a program that I like to really tell my truth, given at every turn. I don't care about this year. Josiah Jervis is on the way. Whatever happens this year is just me tuning in and supporting my boys. I hope that Jeremy Fears is great. I hope everyone has fun. I hope everyone stays healthy. But it's about getting to next year, Bubba. We're getting to next year with it. We got Josiah Jervis on the way. Ethan Taylor also on the way. But yeah, this year can be what it wants to be.
So you know how last year we did the whole Save the Big Ten togetherness movement and we both ended up with a banner at Purdue and Illinois fans' expense?
Yeah.
I'd like to propose Save the Big Ten round 2. You give me this year, I'll give you next year.
Deal.
Handshake on it. We'll see where this goes. Kalen Creedle says, Nike Sleepers gear, can I cop? Unfortunately, right now, no, you cannot cop. We have to reopen the store, but we do plan on reopening the store. We open it for about a week at a time, so stay tuned. If you follow us at Sleepers Media, we will announce when that happens. And then a couple more here. Electric Explorer says, BYU going for 30 wins this year. How about BYU's debut? It was a little rockier than some thought.
Little rocky. I'm not, getting off the hype train or anything like that. This team's going to figure it out. KY is going to figure it out. The only thing I can't get with the 30 wins this year is that, my God, the Big 12 is going to be tough. I mean, 30 wins, I don't think any team is getting 30 wins in the Big 12 with all due respect.
No, that's the league. It's the league that the sport runs through this year. I'm excited to watch it. Okay, let's get back to our overreactions here. Second on my list, I want to talk about the Duke Blue Devils for a moment. I want to talk about their freshman sensation, Cameron Boozer, who I think had a pretty bad game by Cameron Boozer standards last night. But I've seen enough, Cart. Cam Boozer is better than Cooper Flagg. And I understand how blasphemous that sounds. And I'm not necessarily talking where his future NBA career will go. I'm talking when trying to win a national championship as a college basketball player, which guy would help Duke do that more? I watched Cooper Flagg lead the best team in the sport last year to a Final Four. I also watched his bad moments. I watched him have 3 different games in the first month of last season where he finished with single-digit scoring, with less than 10 rebounds, with turnover problems, with late-game execution errors. I watched those. I watched the growing pains. Cameron Boozer last night played what I think might be his worst game of the season. And in a 15-point win over Texas, he still finished with 15 points, 13 rebounds, a block, 3 steals, 2 assists, and 9 made free throws. The guy is an unstoppable force, the likes of which, as a productive basketball player, I don't know that Duke has had. It's crazy to say. It's not as flashy athleticism-wise as Cooper was. But if this was his bad game, Cardi had a double-double in the second half alone. I never saw that from Coop, and I think it's time to give Boobs his flowers.
Yeah, if that's his bad game, you're taking that 100 times out of 100 times. And also, from a mentality standpoint, he sees all these other freshmen have this game in the first game, and he has the worst half in his basketball career. And then he comes back, he responds, his team wins easily. He didn't change his demeanor whatsoever. You didn't see any body language stuff. That kid is just a robot winner, hooper. I'm not mad at it, Gregory. I'll allow it with you. I think that Boozer is all people hype him up to be. He will be that great this year. I'd like to move on and talk about another freshman if I have the space to.
Please.
My next overreaction is that in the best conference in basketball, that is the Big 12, it won't be Darren Peterson. It won't be AJ DeBonsa. It'll be Koa Pete that'll win Big 12 Freshman of the Year in the conference. Now, I understand that Darren Peterson is do it all. He's the second coming. That's all good and well. Tunde Yesufu, a good freshman in his own right. I get that. Koa Pete, as an 18-year-old, went against the most experienced, strongest, one of the best front courts in the sport, and said, y'all are too little. Y'all are too little. Y'all are not ready for me. I got 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. And to be honest with you, he made it look fairly easy. The fact that this kid is 1 year removed, a summer removed, from high school basketball and comes in and puts this performance up against a front court of Florida's caliber, I think says a lot for what he's going to do this season. And look, Greg, you've been singing his praises all summer, and I'm sorry for not doing it more. But what he was able to do in this basketball game was truly special against the front court of Florida. And if he's able to do that against that front court, I think he's able to continue that success. And then also you pair that success with the fact that Arizona could win this conference. And if they do that and Koa produces the way he does, I think he will be freshman of the year in the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't hate this take whatsoever. I just love Koa. He's very similar to Boozer in the production sense. Like it may not always be the flashiest, but the dude just wins. The dude just stuffs the stat sheet. He's done it at every prep level, every team he's ever been on. He's played these Team USA events alongside Darren Peterson and AJ DeBonsa, and he's been as productive as they've been, if not more. To me, Arizona has a win now championship ready team. And I think you compare it to a couple of the other Big 12 freshmen. I mean, obviously, Peterson is amazing. While he struggles with cramps with some supporting cast questions, like Pete's ready. They don't have an adjustment curve to get to. They just beat the defending national champs. I like that take a lot, Card. I really do. Let's move to our third one here before we go back to the chat. I want to just put a bow on this freshman class, our thoughts for this episode. I think this freshman class is the strongest that we have seen going all the way back to 2003. And I guess we got to pivot this a little bit and look ahead to the NBA draft, right? Because LeBron didn't play college basketball. But I'm thinking who is going to be available in the NBA draft come next summer when we're sitting on the couch in New York City with Jonathan Wasserman one room away. I'm telling you, there are going to be teams drafting 8th in this draft that are happier than any team that has drafted 8th in 25 years have felt. It's ridiculous. There is no LeBron James here. But that group of DeBonsa, Peterson, and Boozer is 3 guys that would go number 1 most years. Behind them is Koa Pete, who he looks just as good as those guys right now. Acuff's getting Derrick Rose comparisons. Michael Brown's getting Kyrie Irving comparisons. Caleb Wilson's the best North Carolina freshman in 20 years. Then you've got these European dudes like David Mirkovic and Hans Steinbach who are just spitting out 24 and 14 like it's nothing. I don't know what's happened to the game that we love. It's gone more global than ever, but it's like creative players are just popping out of nowhere and spitting out double-doubles in their sleep. If I'm an NBA team that's on the verge of either tanking or trying to sneak into the play-in, I could not tank quick enough this year. Give me all the draft capital I can get.
Yeah, I'm going to put myself in the Boston Celtics shoes. Tatum, no. Great dunking videos. I'm glad your Achilles is doing well. Take it easy. Jaylen Brown, you were good on that Twitch stream the other day. Just keep on with that. Tell me your hamstring's tight. All right, let's just take it easy because we're fans of a franchise that drafted Jaden Ivey 5th. I'd give my left big toe to be 5th in this draft. I'd probably give another toe to be 8th in this draft. I'm not mad at that at all. I think the depth of this class is going to be incredible for anybody that's drafted in it. And it's only going to get better, too, by the way, as it goes on.
I would trade Jaden Ivey for 14 players in this draft right now.
I think that's underselling it. I think we could extend that to about 21, but I feel really good about that. Now it's time for me to move on to my third overreaction. One that I don't know if that's going to be received well as I'm looking at the chat, but I'm taking it there. I think that Duke finishes third in the ACC this season. I think they finished third behind Louisville, who will win the ACC, and North Carolina, who will finish second in the ACC. Look, I think that Duke's front court is incredible. A lot of that is Cam Boozer. Big Pat is also good in his own right. I think they have one of the other most like feast or famine prospects kind of in the country, though. I think that if Isaiah Evans is not hitting shots, he could go 7 for 9. He could also go 1 for 9 on any given day, and I don't trust it. I still have questions about the point guard play with Kayla Foster and Caden Boozer. I don't know if they can get all the other pieces to play well at the exact same time. They ended up pulling away from Texas, but in watching that game, Texas is bad. Okay. And it credit to Duke for making them look bad, but Texas is also just bad in their own right. They did a lot of things that were self-harming in this one. So I don't know. I could be over jumping, but this is an overreaction segment. And the team I saw last night, they're not winning the ACC.
I understand how you conclude this. I also hate the guard spots for Duke, but I think you kind of pivot the way you view this team if you just view Boozer as that guard. He's obviously not a traditional guard. He's not necessarily playing in the backcourt, but they really do use him as a point guard in the half court quite a bit, and it works. I totally agree with you that Evans is going to be one of the more boomer bust guys, though. Just a highly volatile play style. When he makes his shots, Duke's going to be damn near unbeatable. When he misses his shots, it's going to be hard for Duke to beat really good teams. I do think Louisville is kind of in that same stretch. They're going to rely on shot making. Oddly enough, North Carolina is the team that I think we might be sleeping on the most. If there is a team that sneaks up on Duke, I could see it being the rival. Let's check back in with the chat and see how they feel about that Duke take. Let's start with this. Bright Quartz says, thoughts on the depth of Kansas / the overall team outside of Peterson and Flory?
So I've come around on this. I think I like it more because you actually brought in guys that know their role players. And I think it actually might work out in their favor a little bit. Now, I could be wrong here, but I think these guys know Peterson's the alpha. They know Floor is the second best player on his team. And I've liked what I saw from Melvin Council. And I think Trey White is good in his role as well. So I bought into them a little bit more than I did early on in the offseason.
Yeah, I put it like this. A couple of years ago, we did a Bleacher Report show live from the Final Four in Phoenix. And, I think if you surround you and I with like a bunch of really great producers who know their roles, like we're going to shine and be great. It doesn't mean we'd be better by ourselves with a bunch of producers than we would be if you gave us Robbie Hummel. It's great. Peterson and Badunga look great. Why can't we give them another Peterson and Badunga, though? Why do we have to talk about like they have a bunch of role players? I'm not buying the Trey Whites and the Melvin Councils of the world helping these two all that much. Billy Joe Bob 1 says, Greg, you will regret the Duke take. I don't know that I will regret thinking Boozer's better than Flagg.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy to say. I don't.
Just another great example, though, of you coming up with something that disses Duke more than me and me getting blamed for it again.
I love my life.
Yeah. Cool Ken says, out of all the freshmen, who are you drafting number 1? You are not normally a flip-flopper. You have flip-flopped around on this more than anything I've ever seen from you.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I really don't know how to do it. It's a sickness. It truly is. I'm taking Darren Peterson 1.
That's different than your answer was yesterday.
Cam Boozer struggling against that front court of Texas with that center, with that haircut, really docked his stock for me.
He didn't struggle.
I mean, video game numbers when he was 3 for what? 15 from the field?
A double-double in one half.
Stat padding.
Oh, come on. Stop it. I would take Boozer 1, winner. I would take Peterson 2. I would take Koa Pete 3. I would take DeBonsa 4. Basil Boyd says Virginia front court, very interesting. What do you think of Virginia?
They got some pieces. The ACC is going to be a lot better this year, I think, top to bottom. So it's going to be a little bit more fun to watch than I think it has been in previous years. So I'm in on it. I think Grunlow is a guy. I also like DeRidder a lot. He's got a lot of hype in the offseason. He was pretty good early on. So I'll be tapping into Virginia this year.
DeRidder's the guy that has my attention most. Ryan Odom's a great coach. I will be paying attention to Virginia for the first time in about 6 years. Lastly, Crimson Nomad says Duke needs a point guard bad. You got some agreement there.
I agree. Look, I put it like this, Greg. You're an only child, so you wouldn't really get this. I have two sisters, right? I'm most comfortable around my own sister. If you put me around another girl that's not my sister, I wouldn't be as comfortable around them. Just start Caden Boozer, make everything okay for Cam Boozer. He probably wants to be next to his brother, not Caleb Foster.
Yeah. Duke needs a point guard as bad as I need a Turkish hair transplant. Let's just be real about it. Let's move on to
Got
our
the volume.
overreactions. Number 4 on the list from me. I think the Big Ten's going to have 2 number 1 seeds this year, Cart. Am I being a little bit of a homer for my favorite conference? Maybe. Do I care? No. Let's talk about it. Everyone thinks Purdue is the best team in the sport. I'm not everyone.
Mm.
I think they're going to be in the mix, and I like Braden Smith, of course. I like a lot of pieces offensively for that team. I haven't been overly impressed with Purdue's physicality. Now, I'm arguing against Purdue as I argue for this conference to get 2 number 1 seeds because even though I'm skeptical of certain elements of Purdue as a contender, they're still already so up here in the eyes of everyone in this sport. If they just take care of business and stay in the general realm of what people think they will be, they're probably on the 1 line. Now, they're going to get a second team from this league because Michigan and Illinois look as impressive, if not more impressive, than Purdue right now. Those teams are physically different than anybody in this league, Purdue included. They're massive. Michigan has what people think the Florida front court is. That's what Michigan has. Illinois has a tandem of skilled shooters, passers in the front court that no one else in the sport can keep up with. Mirkovic, this freshman Montenegrin guy, is like Draymond Green reincarnated. I'm so in on the vision from Dusty May and Brad Underwood squads. One of these 2 teams, if not both, are going to finish the season as a top 5 team and ultimately crack the 1 line along with Purdue.
Gregory, I would say you're crazy, but this is one of those moments, Twinsky, where we're locked in 4L. The stuff we done, I'll never tell, Twin. You know how it goes. My next overreaction is that the Big Ten will have at least 2 Final Four teams. Kind of on line with your 1 seeds, but I think there's going to be a world where they get 2 teams, whether it be Purdue, whether it be Michigan, Illinois. I even like what I'm seeing from the Washingtons of the world. Never count out my Spartans. I don't care who's on the floor. UCLA has Donovan Dent. He's dynamic. Oregon, once they get back healthy. I just think there's a world where I'm looking at the Final Four. You and I are in Indy. We're getting some breadsticks and some beers at Kilroy's. And I'm like, wow, there's 2 Big Ten teams here. I think it's probably going to be Michigan and Illinois. I also think Purdue's going to be involved as well. I think the Big Ten's back. Don't doubt us. We're going to have a heavy presence at the Final Four, I think.
Donovan Dent and Bennett Sturts both looked awesome too, All-American candidates. You said you don't care who's on the floor for Michigan State. That's a lie.
Yeah, it is. I do very much care. But like I said, next year.
Next year, 1 year away. It doesn't matter this year. It's all about next year. Okay. Glad to see we are aligned on the Big Ten Conference being amazing. Let's get to our 5th and final overreaction. I would like to end my contributions to this show with this. Dan Hurley's UConn Huskies. I'm out on them.
Oh, no, Greg, it's 1 game.
They will not make a Final Four. I've seen enough. Listen, we were sold this entire offseason that UConn bringing back Solo Ball and Alex Caravan and a Liam McNeely replacement that does all the same things Liam McNeely does except worse in Braylon Mullins is a good formula. Even though it didn't work last year at all, it wasn't those guys' fault. It wasn't the fact that those 3 can't stay in front of anyone. It wasn't anything about the flaws in their games. It was all about how their point guard wasn't good enough and their center wasn't good enough. So the fix to the center spot, Cart, of course, is to have a center that was on last year's roster, healthy the entire season, still on this year's roster. That makes sense. And then at point guard, we'll get 2 guys, not 1, 2, who are both awesome. Demery and Malachi Smith don't look awesome. They looked bad in UConn's first game of the season. And New Haven is a new to Division I program that kept it in the teens against UConn for 30 minutes. I mean, I could not be more out on the performance UConn displayed. They took a bunch of tough 2s. They looked uncomfortable. The defense was not any better than it was last year. The dribble penetration was still wherever New Haven wanted to go. 3 different guys had 13 or more points for New Haven. And yes, UConn was without Terrace Reed, but he's Terrace Reed. Okay? Like, I'm not worried about getting clipped for that because he's not going to get drafted and we won't have to talk about him in the NBA draft show. So let's just be big Big boys, big boy pants are on here, Cart. I'm scared of Dan Hurley. I'm not scared of this roster. He should have changed more from last year's underachieving team, and he didn't.
Big boy pants. That's my music. Gregory, my last overreaction comes with the trivia question first. What is the most points that a freshman has ever scored in a game, single game? High major.
42.
That is correct. Last year, Cooper Flagg did that. My last
Was
over,
it really?
yes, it was. And my last
I,
overreaction is this.
I'm so special.
Darren Peterson will score 50 points in a game this season and break that record. Listen, the caveat here is he doesn't cramp up. That's all it is. Get him an IV, do what you have to do. But Darren Peterson is one of the most lethal scorers in the country, one of the most lethal scorers that the college game has seen in a long time. He walks to 20. He wakes up out of his bed. He looks in his mirror. He says, "Yo, what's up, Bucket Jones?" 20 immediately before he even breaks a sweat. As long as he is playing major minutes, which he will when he's not playing Doug Gottlieb in this box score that you see, this guy will score 50 points in a single game, in a win, might I add, and in regulation. I'm going to go even cuter with it, Gregory. This isn't going to be something crazy. He put up 21 points last night in 21 minutes. Up that to 40, he's already almost there. I feel great about this take. He's going to have a 50 ball this year.
Now you're getting cute. I don't know how to feel about you getting cute, but yeah, not that crazy.
I am cute.
I thought we were supposed to do overreactions. That's not what's
Oh,
crazy
are,
about that.
are you pulling the whole Cam Boozer 30 rebound thing on me right
Oh,
now?
my bad. I thought when one of us comes up with a bold prediction about a crazy stat from one of these guys, we were supposed to act like it's just going to happen. It's not
Okay,
impressive. Yeah,
my fault. I'm good to see
my
we moved
bad.
on.
Should we check in with the chat cart?
Why not?
Let's do it. Thrasher says sleeper Big Ten team. My answer is Washington. You kind of touched on it.
Yeah, same here. Steinbach's awesome.
Mandaquit's fun. Like they got some dudes.
Mm.
Hayden says thoughts on Sean Abayev. That's your guy.
Nothing like a lefty bucket, truly. I wish that Wes Miller wasn't his coach.
Yeah, I am going to pay a lot of attention to Cincy this year. Maybe the only team that will beat Michigan all season long.
Yeah.
Sean Abayev, impressive. Klein says, I actually think Purdue gets upset in the Sweet 16. I don't trust Painter. Can I take this one?
Please.
I think it's totally reasonable to believe Purdue gets upset in the Sweet 16, but it shouldn't be about lack of trust in Painter. It should be about flaws in this roster. Painter has proven himself at this point. He will not let the team down.
That theory's dead.
Albie Go Blue says Michigan State will not compete for the Big Ten title.
You're right. We won't.
And I will not run a marathon.
There we go. So we're just saying stuff that's for sure not going to happen.
I thought we were just stating obvious things that aren't going to happen. Snarly says, I think you're underrating Duke's guards of Caden, Evans, Dame Sar, Foster, Huminia, even Harris. Yeah, and Pat Ngongba and Malik Brown. Like, are we just naming guys that aren't guards?
Yeah. Also, just name those names one more time again, and then you tell me if I'm underrating them. Let's be
Dame Sar is
adults.
not a guard, folks. Come on. What are we doing?
Let's just be adults.
They got some dogs, but not a guard. Okay.
Dogs is a little bit. They're like some Bichon freezes.
Okay. Sure. I can deal with that. Let's recap the show. My 5 overreactions. I think Kentucky's defense is elite. I really do. I think Cam Boozer is better than Cooper Flagg. Yes. I think this freshman class is the best since 2003. I was 10 years old. The Big Ten will have 2 number 1 seeds. Yeah. And I think UConn won't make a Final Four. I think I'm going 5 for 5 for this. Your overreactions, Anderson and Toppin, the best duo in the sport. Yeah. Koa Pete, freshman of the year in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duke, 3rd in the ACC. That's a no for me,
Yeah.
dog. That's a no for me, dog. The Big Ten will have at least 2 Final Four teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darren Peterson scores 50 in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There we have it. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this show. If you want more from us, we are Sleepers Media. We do way too many hours of content, way too many days a week. Subscribe to Sleepers Media on YouTube. You'll get previews and recaps. And selfish, shameless plug, we are launching a podcast with the preseason National Player of the Year, Braden Smith, Purdue point guard. First episode comes out tonight. It's called Running Point with Braden Smith. Stay tuned for that. Most importantly, you can get us every single week on Wednesdays, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, live in the Bleacher Report app. Carter, please take us away with one final word.
Just never ever let it leave you that if no one in this world loves you, if everyone in this world loves you, I, Carter Elliott, will always at least a little bit love you.
That means the world to me. We'll see you next
Not
Wednesday.
you. Shut up, Greg.